In this video, I'm going to show you how to make billions, okay? You heard that right, billions. In my previous video, I built this contraption, okay? So it's basically a rotating turret with a radar module in it, and it displays targets it detects on the screen. So you get sort of a 180-degree sweep, and it detects a target in that field of view. That video got a lot of comments, and a lot of people pointed out some really sensible improvements I could have made, like why didn't I use a servo instead of a stepper? Why didn't I use a radar module that could detect multiple targets and leave it stationary, etc., etc. But one comment piqued my interest, so have a look at this. If I can build a head-mounted radar system that can detect drones, give me the direction and speed, then I can make billions. Okay, billions, you heard that. I'm not one to turn down a challenge, so let me show you what I came up with. Possibly the most ridiculous headgear you have ever seen. Let me show you. I mean, there's just one problem with it, is that the screen doesn't line up with my eyes and it doesn't really sit on my face very well. But anyway, the 3D printed frame is not really the challenge here. It's all about detecting those targets and displaying them on a head-up display. So that's what this video is about. Let's crack on. For my first prototype, I'm going to use a simple human presence sensor, so not a drone sensor, but a human presence. It's an LD2450. It's basically a 24 gigahertz radar module. It's got a 6-meter detection range, which, let's face it, for a drone is not very much. You can probably hear it much further away than 6 meters. But I think to prove the principle, it's worth considering, and it's really easy to use, just a simple serial link. So that's what I'm going to be using. And it actually does a plus or minus 60-degree field of view, and also plus or minus 35 pitch. So if you think about that on your face, you can sort of see 120 degrees out in front of you and up to 35 degrees into the sky and down to the ground. Not that that's much use, but it's a really simple system. It runs from 5 volts and it's just got a serial TX and RX. So that's what I'll be using. So the brains of the operation is going to be the ESP32S3 dual-core processor, absolutely ample processing power for this relatively simple serial comms. This is the official Espressif dev board. You don't need this. You could use the mini one. The mini one would be much more convenient to sort of head mount because, let's face it, this is pretty bulky. But there's nothing special about this. I'm going to write the code in Arduino. It's a pretty standard ESP32S3. So here's the star of the show, really. It's a WaveShare 1.5-inch transparent OLED. So, if you're going to have a head-up display covering your eyes, you basically need to be able to see through it. And this screen's pretty cool that you can clearly see the chopping mat underneath, even though the screen's powered and it's got the text on it. It's got this little driver board, which is really simple to connect. It can either do SPI or I2C comms. I'm using SPI here, hence there's quite a few more wires. Basically, I only did that because the example code uses SPI, and that's what I modified to use this thing. So really simple, really. It's a nice little screen. Obviously, it's only got one color. It's not a color screen. One thing I've noticed, especially when you're filming this thing, is that it kind of flickers, but to your eye, it's completely stable. It looks really nice. It's super crisp. And as I already sort of mentioned in the intro, the distance between my nose and my eye is not like 10 centimeters. So clearly, I should have basically brought the screen right in front of my eye, but not to worry. It sort of proves the point that it can be done. So there's the screen, and those are the 3 components that sort of make this proof of concept possible. So in terms of software, I took the shortcut here. I went straight to Claude. I basically sent it all the data sheets and the serial port communication guide for the radar module, and ask it to write the code. Simple as that. And Claude is so good now that it can just churn out these codes that basically work first time. So I'll go through it in a second, but really the sort of key issues I came across. One is I had the RX and TX pin on the radar module the wrong way around, which of course never going to work. And also it's a bit annoying trying to get it to flip the screen into the right orientation so that when it's sat on your face, you actually get the proper orientation. You can read the text and everything looks correct from your perspective when it's basically mounted on your head. So that took a little bit of negotiation, let's say, but other than that, super straightforward. So just scrolling through the code, we set up the SPI, we give the screen the right dimensions, we tell it the RX and TX pins and the radar baud rate. I also had that wrong initially. And I mean, there are libraries for this radar module, but I'd rather know exactly what the code's doing and be able to see that than rely on somebody else's driver. And that's basically setting up all that kind of stuff. Again, this is for the screen, and I just asked Claude to basically highlight 3 blocks, which are the most important. So the first is the frame parsing. So this module spits out a lot of data, just like the raw data is not human readable. It's all ASCII. You need to do some processing, and basically this block here takes care of all that. It's not something that I would have liked to have done myself. So if I'd have had to look at the data sheet and work my way through like all the text and figuring out exactly what the format of the data is and all this kind of stuff, the headers, I think it would have taken me many, many hours, if not days. So Claude really was a massive shortcut there. Obviously, once you've detected something, and there can be up to 3 targets with this particular module, you then somehow need to convert that X and Y in the real world into something on the screen, a pixel point. So that's what this block of code does. Again, it's simple maths, right? It's nothing very complicated. It's just a little bit time consuming if you have to do it manually. You've basically got to map that real world points, so 6 meters plus or minus 60 degrees onto a pixel on a 128 by 64 screen. So it's simple. It's just maths and time consuming. Claude absolutely nailed that, got that right basically first time. And then once you know where to plot the points, you basically need to send it to the screen, right? So that's what this block does here. Nothing very fancy. As you can see, we detect targets, and at the top of the screen, I didn't really go into detail on this. It basically plots the velocity of the closest target. So if you have multiple targets, multiple drones, multiple people, it's going to show you the velocity of the closest one to you. I guess that's probably the most important. So really simple when you've got Claude on the case, it just rattles off this code. So let's go have a look at the demo, the exciting bit. For the drone test, I've actually got my little DJI Spark, and you can see it just hovering there in front of the sensor. And if you look on the screen, there is a dot kind of moving away from the bottom point. I have to admit, the screen is absolutely terrible on this video. It's so difficult to see. But you can basically get the idea. As I move the drone away or move it closer towards, you can see that dot in the middle kind of moving further away from the bottom of the screen. So basically, when you look with your eye, the bottom of the screen is a solid sort of hemisphere, and the drone actually appears as an open circle. At the top of the screen, it actually reports the velocity, but of course you can't read that. So in terms of filming, it's a bit of a disaster, but in terms of a proof of principle, it's actually working super good. So I don't know if you noticed, but when I was testing the drone outside, it kind of was drifting left and right, but the dot in the center of the screen wasn't really moving, showing it from different angles. I kind of thought that was weird. I just thought maybe the field of view is really wide and the actual motion's not very much. But when I was walking in front of the sensor, I also noticed that the dots never really left that central region. So I've just been doing a little bit of testing off camera, and I found out what's going on. And basically, the module is rectangular, and it should be orientated as shown here on the datasheet. You need the small side with this little notch out of it facing the ground, and then you get the wider field of view in the sort of positive and negative angle region. So that's where I was going wrong. That's why I never really detected any targets left and right, because really what I was looking at was altitude, them going up and down. Again, that's probably why we saw some variation in the sort of left and right position, because the drone was moving up and down as well. I just confirmed this by orientating it properly and kind of walking in front of it. So you can see what kind of field of view you'd expect from this sensor. Basically, it kind of implies this diagram here that the maximum range would be 8 meters, but only if you're directly in front of the sensor. So that's interesting. But obviously for drones, not so much use. So what can we do for drones? Well, let me show you this. So I've been shopping on AliExpress again, and as you know, I spend way too much time on AliExpress and money, to be honest, and I came across these two radar modules. So this one is the LD2451. I consider that the big brother of the 2450 you've just seen. It's 24 gigahertz radar. It does multi-targets up to 3, but the distance, this works at 100 meters range. However, it's worth pointing out that this is for vehicle detection. I'm guessing vehicles are big blocks of metal and drones are much smaller blocks of metal. So I'm not sure that this would be able to detect a drone, say, at 100 meters. I would give it a try, but I'm not going to, because I basically figure it's just like a drop-in replacement for the other radar, and I think it'll give the same result, just not be as sensitive. There was just a couple of differences really between this and the 2450. One is that the angle is much narrower on this, so it's got a plus or minus 20 degree field of view, so makes it a little bit less useful. And it doesn't give you an XY coordinate, it gives you an angle. I mean, as long as you have the distance and an angle, I think that would be absolutely all right. So I'm not going to try this. It's basically probably going to work for big objects at a significant distance, unlikely to work for a small drone, unfortunately. And that brings me on to this monstrosity. So as you can see, it significantly looks quite different from the other modules we've seen. And that's the same on the back. Look, it's absolutely a lot more hardware, basically a lot more ICs and a lot more signal processing probably. So this is a 24 gigahertz radar. It's an LD2415H, and it's a slightly different radar technology, basically. This is a continuous wave, whereas this is an FMCW system. So it's slightly different, and it does different things. And because of the way it works, this one, unfortunately, doesn't detect distance or position, which is a bit of a blow. This could almost tell you that a drone is approaching, but not where from. But the beauty of this is it detects up to 1 kilometer distance. 1 kilometer, that's a massive distance. Probably, again, it's for detecting vehicles. It's basically what they use in speed guns, according to the data sheet. It's a real simple sort of Doppler frequency shift radar. I'm going to try this. I'm just going to plug it on to the ESP32 and I'm going to see what happens. Got basically about 3 meters behind me, an absolute push. So maybe I'll even be too close and maybe it won't even detect me. Maybe it literally needs something as big as a car. But I think it's worth a try. It's a bit of fun. It's similar sort of connections to the previous one. The only difference being that it runs from 12 volts, or officially like 9 to 24, but I'm going to use 12, so I need an external power supply. Bear with me a second whilst I get this rigged up. And that should be it. I'm going to get Claude to write me a test code just to output the serial from the module to the serial terminal so we can just see if it's working. I'm just going to put my simple test code, basically 80 lines. It does nothing special, defines 16 and 17 as the serial pins, defines the baud rate from the datasheet. It's just going to plot the speed. This module only gives you the speed right. So if you want to make a speed camera, that's going to be great for that. So let me pop that onto the ESP32. And that just whilst that's uploading, at the minute I've got my DC power supply switched off. So without any power on the module, it's not going to work. Let's just have a look at the serial terminal. Basically, it's showing nothing at the minute. Let me turn the DC power supply on. Look, it detected some speeds there straight away. Was that just a fluke? So it's drawing 35 milliamps at the minute. Let me swipe my hand over it and see what happens. Ah, there you go. Does it get faster? Yeah, if I move my hands really quick. So I'm kind of hovering over it at the minute, not really in its field of view, perhaps. It's pointing at the ceiling, you see. If I just slowly move my hand over, look, it registered a 3 kilometers an hour then. If I really move my hand fast over it, look, 14 kilometers it went up to. So it's definitely working, and it definitely detects people. I don't know what range that would detect a person, or whether it would be enough to detect a drone. I guess maybe a biggish drone with plenty metal components, then that would be all right. Just a shame that this technology doesn't give you the distance and angle. That would be really cool. It just gives you the speed. But anyway, I think certainly with these newer modules, maybe the 2451, you'd be able to detect drones at a decent distance. And that's kind of the aim of this video, is just to see if it's possible. So there you go, guys. $1 billion worth of headgear here. Not quite. So, I mean, it is pretty ridiculous. I reckon it could be done. So, you can definitely detect a drone within sort of 6 meters of where you stood. Not that that's any use. But, that's with a budget of like £50, something like that. If I had a military-sized budget and a lot of expertise in radar design, surely something could be made to detect drones in the sky around your head. I don't know, just saying. That's based on my sort of very non-expert opinion. But anyway, that's really the end of the video. It was a bit of fun, pretty interesting anyway, and I learned a lot about different radars, and I was really impressed with this screen. I think that's pretty cool. I'll use that in future projects for sure. What else is new? Well, look at the subscribers, 10,000, finally did it. Never thought I would get there. It's been quite a few years, maybe 2 years to get there, but got there in the end. So I'm super happy about that. Thanks to everyone who's watched, commented on the videos. Almost every video I get a lot of comments and so much useful information. I learn so much. So I learn something when I make the videos, and I learn something from all the really experienced people who comment on them as well. So that's really great. Really like making the videos, and I do apologize I haven't made any for a while. And that's actually, I'm moving house, moving jobs. So this is the last video I'll probably make in this room. So that's going to be a bit of a delay as well. But anyway, hope to get back on the videos soon. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.